shuts down Bioterror and flu labs after discovering 327 vials of deadly pathogens misplaced. The Center for Disease Control, CDC, is conducting a nationwide search of its cold storage units after discovering vials of smallpox in a Food and Drug Administration (FDA) cold storage room at the National Institutes of Health facility in Bethesda, Maryland. Along with the vials of smallpox were 327 other pathogens, including vials labeled for dengue, influenza, and rickettsia. This news comes as the CDC is under multiple investigations for unsafe practices. In response to the news, Richard H. Ebright, a professor of chemistry and chemical biology at Rutgers University, remarked, "It is ironic that the institution that sets U.S. standards for safety and security of work with human pathogens fails to meet its own standards." Also this week, the AP reported what is being described as an accident, saying a government scientist kept silent about a potentially dangerous lab blunder and revealed it only after workers in another lab noticed something fishy, according to an internal investigation. The accident happened in January at the headquarters of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta. A lab scientist accidentally mixed a deadly strain of bird flu with a JMER strain, and sent the mix to another CDC lab and to an outside lab in Athens, Georgia. This strain of avian flu, known as H5N1, has killed 60% of the roughly 650 people who have been infected with it since 2003, according to CDC and World Health Organization. The New York Times reported that CDC head, Dr. Thomas R. Frieden, has closed the CDC's flu and bioterror labs, and has banned all shipments from the agency's highest security labs while safety protocols are being reviewed. While the Times notes that these lab closures will hamper the work done by other public health labs, one could argue that the shutdown is the lesser of two evils in light of government documents obtained by USA Today revealing that more than 1,100 similar cases were reported between 2008-2012, including a snafu at Fort Detrick involving over 9,200 unaccounted for vials, some of which contained Ebola and anthrax. It's impossible to know how many cases may have gone unreported. In 2011 to 2012, the world community attempted to prevent a CDC-approved and U.S.-funded mutation of H5N1 by Ron Fauci of the Erasmus Medical Center in Rotterdam. Previously, H5N1 was not considered a danger because the natural strains of the virus were specifically adapted to infect birds. However, the mutation that Fauci later developed, ostensibly to discover ways to prevent it from threatening humans, is highly contagious, easily transmissible to mammals, airborne and deadly. In other words, the CDC approved the creation of a virus that would pose a grave threat to humanity under the guise of preventing that same virus from threatening humanity. Extrapolating from the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic, scholars have estimated that, should H5N1 become a pandemic, 1 billion people would become ill and 62 million would die. Despite the Dutch government's attempts at blocking the publication of Fauci's processes and findings, the entire manual for creating a global pandemic was later made public by Science magazine. Scientific American listed the necessary materials as 10 ferrets, some bird flu and swabs. That is all. Earlier this summer, a nearly identical experiment was announced, alarming scientists worldwide. Yoshihiro Kawaoka and a team of researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison used fragments of naturally occurring bird flu to reverse engineer the 1918 Spanish flu, which killed an estimated 50 million people. They then mutated the virus to make it airborne and to spread more easily from one animal to another. The work they are doing is absolutely crazy. The whole thing is exceedingly dangerous, said Lord May, the former president of the Royal Society and one-time chief science advisor to the British government. Yes, there is a danger, but it's not arising from the viruses out there in the animals, it's arising from the labs of grossly ambitious people. Mark Lipsitch, professor of epidemiology at Harvard School of Public Health, worried that this signals a growing trend to make transmissible novel viruses willy-nilly, without strong public health rationale. This is a risky activity, even in the safest labs. Emphasis mine. Scientists should not take such risks without strong evidence that the work could save lives, which, Fauci.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. You can visit us on www.therealthingmeme.webs.com.